Thank you for joining us at prospectingtoday.com. And today our guest is Ren Jones with Vulcan 7. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about what's something exciting and new or great that Vulcan 7 has to offer the real estate agents.
More listings.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
They need those.
And less time. Yeah, they'll have money and the time to enjoy it. So what more could you want? There are a number of features coming down the road, and we just added investors, people that are advertising a home that they have for rent. A lot of times they'll go ahead and sell it, or they'll have 10, 20 other properties. You ask them about that, and they go, and ask them if they, is there one or two they'd like to sell or exchange for something more lucrative? And those investors play old maid. They'll have 20 properties, and they're always trading out or buying more. That's normal. So you talk to 10 or 20 of those, and pretty soon you've got all the business you want. So we added that recently. We're adding several other features that, can I say? No, I can't say. But they're on the way.
Stay tuned.
Yes. Our competitors watch her show.
Yeah. Well, what I really like is your story. You were a real estate agent and you created a tool because there was something.
Pain points.
Yeah, there were things you had that you knew if you could create something, it'd make your life easier.
Yes. I can't reach them on the phone. Ouch. And so we just made so we can reach them.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that because you're speaking the language. Like so many agents are trying to figure out how to be as successful as you were as an agent. What were those pain points and how did it lead to Vulcan 7?
Well, you're just being able to, when you started dialing through a lot of numbers, not reaching anybody, real estate's a contact sport. And we have to be in conversations all the time. I don't care how you do the business. You have to be in conversations with somebody, live, face-to-face, text with your thumb, whatever. You have to be in direct conversations to make stuff happen. And you have to do that in a consistent way. And if you're having trouble reaching people, you saw today in the audience, this lady's like, how do I reach more people? And what was said? Talk to Vulcan 7. So because we can get those, we can help you reach more people.
And talk on a layman's level, like how do you do that? Because some people who are watching this may have never heard of Vulcan 7.
That's true.
So what is Vulcan 7?
Vulcan 7 provides phone numbers for pretty much any phone number. You can do a neighborhood search and upcome phone numbers and email addresses, and you actually reach lots of people. The quality. Now, it's expensive. Let's face it, it's expensive. So if someone is not doing a whole lot of business and they don't put a lot of energy into it, it's not a good fit. But if you're a little driven and you have somewhat of a hunter personality, you're going to be rich from it because you're going to be able to reach people and then illuminate that part of their mind that wants to buy or sell and then get a contract signed.
So what do you say when people say, people do not answer phone calls from people they don't recognize anymore?
All our customers do. You don't care about, it's sort of like going to a for sale barn or knocking on the door and they're not home. What are you paying attention to? The ones that are not home or the ones that are home? If you call through, some people answer the phone. Some people do not answer the phone. If you knock on doors, for me, when I knocked on doors, there would one out of every 3 people were at home. 1 out of every 4 came to the door. I only cared about the 1 out of 4 that came to the door. I could have focused on the other 3. So it's a numbers game. We will give you enough people to, whether it's expired listings or for sale by owners, we'll give you enough people to talk to. Neighborhood search or whatever, or you put your database in there. It's a better tool to use calling your database than doing it by hand. Boop, boop, boop. That takes time. But in a system like that, it goes a lot faster.
Yeah. So you've been a real estate agent. Now you're on the technology side of things.
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest mistake agents make?
Winging it. They're not following a construct. There's a natural inclination. As humans, we get a little independentitis. I do it my way. I'll just say whatever comes to my mind. And then winging it, and then people say, they'll say, well, yes, can you come over and talk to me about listing my house? And then you're like, I'll drop everything and go over there. Well, what if you follow a little bit of a process? So bottom line is everybody should get involved in some sort of a coaching program in a proven best practices. And if they're in a coaching program, they'll probably pay attention and stick with it and and get wealthy.
Well, and they also have accountability
Yeah.
when they're in coaching.
Right.
Which is probably the most
Right.
beneficial thing.
Well, it's sort of like going to the gym. You go by yourself, maybe you'll go, maybe you won't. You're meeting somebody at the gym, you'll go because they're waiting for you. You have a coaching call, you'll go. They give you homework and you're going to have to go on that call, you'll do the homework.
Yeah.
So right, it's accountability. You're right.
So you helped create this technology that makes it easier for real estate agents to reach more people, which tells me that as an agent, you understood prospecting was so important for your business.
Right. And you're going to have a lot of people watching. Well, a lot of people that watch yours agree with that. There are going to be some that are watching and they go, oh, I would never prospect. I had a buyer agent one time. She was so good. Every month she sold back easily 3 properties. She goes, I would never prospect. And I said, well, Millie, what do? I just talk to people. So she talked to people a lot, but she would never prospect. I don't know that she knew what the difference was. And there is no difference.
There isn't a difference.
Right.
Prospecting is not just cold calling people. It's a ton of different ways to reach people.
It's communicating in one of 3 ways: live, or text, or you could even do it with email. But yeah, the more live you are, the better the success rate.
Mm-hmm. So being an agent and then building the technology for agents, how important is prospecting?
Let's look at some facts. Can you build a real estate business passively by just posting a lot of stuff and have a lot of stuff people call you? Yes, you can. The problem with it is you become a lot like an Exxon station. You're only making 2 or 3 cents a gallon. You're doing a lot of gross for a small net. Mm-hmm. A lot of gross, small net when you're doing it that way. Is that easier, a lot more relaxing? You can sip tea while your stuff is doing it for you, but you're working off a smaller net income. Mm-hmm. And that's just a reality. If you are, and it's not easy to spend 3 hours every day in conversations with people, and then you make 800,000 and you keep 600. That's a lot better than make 800,000 and keeping 200,000. Mm-hmm. So the choice is yours. Both ways work.
Yeah.
One is wealthier. If you're on the listing side of the business, you'll have money and the time to enjoy it. If you're heavy on buyers, what's that ice cream? Rocky Road. It's a rocky road.
You may have money, but no time to enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah. So just in closing, what is the one message you would leave agents?
Well, like I said, real estate's a contact sport. And be organized. Follow a process.
Yeah, absolutely.
One way or another.
If they want to learn,
or as Gary Kelly used to say, write a check to some coach or coaching company somewhere.
Yeah. So if they want to learn more about Vulcan 7 and how that can help them find people that want to buy or sell real estate,
yeah,
where can they learn more about it?
Vulcan7.com, or go to YouTube and type in Vulcan 7 and watch all our roadmap shows.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us.